Now, last week I did a video that mentioned something about women's kryptonite. The thing that really, women's kryptonite, the substance, the thing that can really wreck a woman and that can totally put her in the palm of your hand. And a lot of people want me to talk more about it. So, okay, fair enough. Here it is. Have you noticed how there are some people who can manipulate women and get them to do whatsoever the hell they want? I mean, like that, you know, just tell them to do this, do that, and the girls, these gorgeous women, do it, right? I mean, look at Charles Manson, right? The Manson family. Charles Manson was this short, weird little guy, and he had objectively a bunch of hot young things who were basically his sex slaves, right? And there's like some recent scandal going on. I forget. I mean, like a whole bunch of shit going down of like some random guy who seemed like a fucking dweeb who had like a bunch of sex slaves and got them branded with his initials and shit like that. And they were happy to do so, you know? And you ask yourself, you know, how is this possible? How do these guys, you know, these objectively awful guys, ugly guys, short guys, pathetic guys, losers, no money, no nothing, and yet they get this hot trim? How did they do it? Very simple. They used women's kryptonite. Ask yourself, what drives a woman from an evolutionary perspective? What is essential for a woman? What's essential for a woman is the good opinion of her social milieu. That's essential for her. Because, see, a woman, as I've said countless times now, right, she cares about what other people think, because what other people think determines her mating success. Not just her mating success, but the success of her offspring. A man's genetic legacy depends on his objective success, building an empire, making a shit ton of money. The more money he makes, the more sexual opportunity he's going to have and be able to have more children. But a woman, what is she looking for? She's looking for, in a literal sense, social security. She wants security based on a social group, a group of people around her who will protect her and her offspring. That's what she wants. And that's why junior high school girls worry so much about what other girls in their group think. Yeah, because it's hardwired into women. That's what they care about. So of course, the thing that they would most fear is being socially ostracized, or the thing that would make them most malleable and easy to manipulate is to separate her from her social environment. Yeah, because if her reactions, the things that are important to her depend on her social group, right? And suppose, just for the sake of argument, that she has a wide array of different social groups, different groups that she interacts with. You know, her church group, her school group, her work group, this group, that group, her family, her extended family, these people, the other people, right? If she has a lot of different social connections, right? All of these social connections make her feel not just valued, but make her feel tethered. She's grounded, you see? But if you take a girl who is, say, untethered, has very few social circles, or maybe just one social circle, or maybe, you know, she's a runaway, like happened with a lot of the people in Charles Manson's family, right? These girls were runaways, and so they had broken off from all of their social connections, and they were off in Los Angeles, the big city, all on their own with nobody, right? If you separate a girl, a woman, from her social connections, you untether her, and you become her only social outlet, right? You become the only thing, you become her entire social milieu. She will grow to depend on you and the social milieu that you provide. She will grow to depend on you, and because you are providing her with the only social milieu that she has, because you've isolated her from every other social group that she used to have, right? If you do this, what will happen? Well, she will be willing to do anything in order to stay in this social milieu that you have created for her. This is what pimps do, quite frankly. It's not more complicated. You know, you look at some pimp, right? Some scraggly, pathetic loser of a guy, right? And he's got 2, 3, 4, 10 girls peddling their asses out on the street and bringing him all of their money. Well, how do you think that happened? You know, he brainwashed them, you know, or he's some sort of genius? No. What he did was very simple. He took isolated girls who were runaways, girls who had been ostracized from their social milieu for whatever reason, right? And provided them with a sense of community, a sense of family. The pimp makes the girl feel cared for. The pimp makes her feel a part of a group. Doesn't matter how squalid the group may happen to be. I mean, come on, we're talking pimps here, right? But that feeling is so important to a woman that if the pimp threatens to take that away, the woman will happily go out on the street and peddle her ass to bring him the money. That's how it works. Yeah, and you can see it. And when you hear when you hear some pimp say that he can turn out any girl and turn her into a prostitute, he's not kidding, and he's dead right. He can. Any guy can. See? Because see, the thing that a woman wants and the thing that she's terrified of is to lose social approval of the group that she belongs to. If she loses that social approval, or more to the point, if she is threatened with the loss of that social approval, she will do anything, including prostituting herself, including selling her own children, including doing God knows what barbarity for the sake of remaining. See, that's the thing. That's women's Achilles heel. That's their kryptonite. The fear of being excommunicated from their social group. Again, going back to the junior high school situation. I mean, why do you think these teenage girls, poor things, right? When their friends, their group of friends turn their backs on her, right? For whatever stupid ass reason. I mean, they're middle school girls, right? They turn their backs on her, and what happens to this girl? She becomes practically suicidal. And there are lots of teenage girls, poor things, 13, 14, 15 years old, who have actually killed themselves because they have been ostracized by the group that they belong to, for whatever foolish reason, right? They were probably bored, or probably God knows what happened, and the group of friends decided that, you know, Mary was they didn't want to be friends with Mary anymore, and they said, oh, boo-hoo, you know, cooties on you, Mary, we don't want to be friends. And poor Mary freaks out, goes home, and slits her wrists. I mean, it's a tragedy, but it's a tragedy that happens all the time, because this is how important it is to women. You see? You have to get that through your head. A woman who is threatened with social ostracism will do anything. And if she is actually socially ostracized, for her, it's the end of the world. I've been ostracized in my time in different situations, in different groups. And yeah, it wasn't fun, you know. I mean, nobody likes it. But, you know, I survived. It wasn't the end of the world. I wasn't crying into my pillow or any shit like that. But if I'd been a girl, yeah, I would have been crying into my pillow. Yeah, because see, a guy can survive on his own. That's something, a quality that we have that women don't have. I'm not talking in the literal sense of surviving, of you know, eating food and what have you, and shelter and whatnot. No, I'm talking in the psychological sense. If you or I are completely ostracized by the group that we belong to, we're not going to like it, but we'll live, we'll endure, and we'll carry on until we find some other group. Yeah. And maybe we never find such a group, we'll be fine. I mean, again, it's not going to be great, because it's always better and more fun to be surrounded by a social group now, isn't it? Of course, yeah. But we'll survive. A woman won't. A woman will go insane. And in point of fact, they do go insane. And you know what we call them? We call them cat ladies. Well, a woman's life is a tragedy. Oh, yes, it is. You know, I mean, like, they've got a lot of things going for them, you know, and they have a lot of advantages at different times in their lives. But in the long run, their life is a misery because they are a slave to their emotions. Yeah, that feeling of belonging, that feeling of being a part of a group, being part of a social milieu, being central to it. Yeah, and having these emotional connections, these social connections. They are slaves to this desire. And this is women's kryptonite. This is what can destroy a woman. You can turn a queen into a whore if you unplug her from her social milieu and plug her into a squalid, disgusting, degenerate milieu. Yes, I can turn Queen Elizabeth II, the reigning Queen of England, I can turn her into a whore if I unplug her enough and plug her in the right or the wrong circles. Yeah. And it seems impossible to a guy because our mentality is so radically different. But look around you. The proof is in the pudding, as they say. Look at teenage girls, high school girls, junior high school girls, how they freak out when they lose their social group, right? Look at prostitutes, quite frankly. Look how they arrived at prostitution, yeah? I mean, if you don't know any prostitute, go up and ask her. Go ask her and tell her how she got there. Because I did once, yeah, years ago. I went up to a prostitute because I was just goddamn curious. And this was some street walking prostitute in Chile, and she was just standing there, you know, wanting a customer, and for God's sake, I wasn't going to hire her, but I was genuinely curious, and the curiosity got the better of me, and I asked her. And the story was just so goddamn tragic, yeah? She was a country girl, run away to the big city because her stepfather was abusing her, and she didn't have many friends back in the country. She got to Santiago, the big city. She didn't know anyone. She was sleeping in the streets for a few nights, and eventually a guy started helping her, quote unquote helping her. You know, bought her a nice meal, got her dressed up, cleaned up, and soon enough she was turning tricks for the guy. And the guy was her pimp. The guy had been scoping and looking for runaway girls, you know? And I told her, and she didn't believe me. I told her that the guy was a pig and abusing her, and what was she doing with her life? You know, because I was young. I was like, how old was I when I did this stunt, this stupid stunt? This must have been like 2003, 2002 maybe, you know? God damn, you're so fucking naive. I was what? Then in 2002 I was 34 years old, 34 years old, yeah. 34 years old, 35 years old, fucking should have known fucking better. But no, you know, because we're white knights, yeah? We're inherently white knights, and, you know, I didn't want to fuck this prostitute, but I did want to help her. I gave her a few bucks, and God knows what happened to this poor girl, but the fact remains, see? See how easily she was turned into a prostitute? And she didn't even realize it, yeah? She didn't even realize it. She kept insisting that what she was doing, prostitution, she was doing it because he had helped her so much. He was the fucking pimp exploiting her, yeah? And she couldn't see it because this pimp was doing that thing, giving her a social milieu, giving her a social connection, tethering her, yeah? And of course, he didn't need to hit her because she said that he didn't hit her. And by the way, oh yeah, I've forgotten that. She kept saying that he couldn't be a pimp because pimps would hit their girls and he never hit her. Of course, he didn't need to. He was fucking with her head, huh? He was using women's kryptonite. You want to control a woman utterly? You want her to basically be your slave, your doormat? You want her to be somebody who will kill for you, who will do anything for you? Well, take a page out of the pimp's book. Yeah. Cut a girl off from every other social milieu. Make yourself the center of her universe, right? And watch. And it's a horrible thing. I mean, it's fucking low. Yeah? It really is. To fuck with some poor woman's head like that. But guys do it all the time. I feel very ambivalent about doing this video because, you know, I think that some people who watch this video will get the definitely wrong idea. Do I think that you should do this? Fuck no. But it's important to understand women. Yeah. Understand them because, see, at the end of the day, You know what I feel about women? I feel sorry for them. I feel sorry for them because they're a slave to these emotions. They are slaves to their desire to belong. They're slaves to this urge to be a part of some social circle. Yeah? And they'll say anything, do anything, think anything in order to belong, in order to feel safe and secure. That's why I feel so sorry for women. Yeah, I feel sorry for them because they are so easily manipulated. Yeah? And that's why I thank God I'm a guy.